Okay, figure I'd better give you all the rundown on what's happened with the ute so far and a little bit of history and whatever else. Not sure if you know, it's got to be 2 years, getting close to 2 years I think. Paid $2,200 for this ute. Not in too bad a condition, but yeah, had been neglected over the years. I think more maintenance wise than anything. So when I got it, first thing I did was start on the motor. So I replaced all the top seals on the plenum, replaced the exhaust manifold, gaskets, ordered a water pump with a view just to replacing the water pump itself, but then had trouble getting the pulley off because someone had screwed the old hydraulic fan or clutch fan on the wrong way. They tried to undo it and they were tightening it and basically welded it to the pulley. So I smashed all that apart, put the new water pump on, found a set of twin fans that fit my radiator perfectly out of a Nissan. Cost me nothing, bargain. So I wired them in, so I got that all done. One of the biggest issues was, can we see it in there? The thermostat housing. I think you can just see the top corner of it here. The original ones are plastic and they tend to crack and start leaking fluid, which is what happened with this thing when the original owners had it. So where is it? There it is. You can see it in here a bit easier. There you go. That's the thermostat housing hiding down in there. Now I replaced that with an aluminium one, which was $60 cheaper than the OEM plastic one. So that's in. I've got hoses to replace all the hoses. The alternator died, the 95 amp alternator. Sourced 130 amp, which are off the later models, and it was cheaper than the 95 amp. So I've got a 130 amp alternator in there as well. I put some additive in some heavyweight oil. I've been running that in it for a while. I'm going to dump that in the next couple of days, put a new filter on it and put the recommended oils in it. What else have I done? Oh, mounted spotlights. These were, the Navas were given to me, and the little nudge bar with the light bar on it I found on an old dumped Holden bumper bar, so I grabbed that. I wired in the spotlights. The spotlights are wired into the high beam. The light bar's on a completely separate switch, so I can use it as to go underneath the fog if I ever go anywhere where it's foggy, blah blah blah. Underneath, the top control arms were rattling, rattle rattle rattle, so I replaced the upper control arms, replaced the shockies with a set of Dobinson's Nitro heavy duties, replaced all the ball joints, replaced the brake pads and the rotors on the front, replaced the tie rod ends, did all the rubbers on the front end, and down the back here, pulled the springs off, cleaned them all up, sorted that out, put new bushes on the springs, put new shockies on the back. I'll be changing the diff oil and transmission oil and all that sort of stuff in the very near future. Next thing I had to do was, and you probably can't see it, it's getting too dark in the afternoon, isn't it? In here I had to replace the fuel filler hose and the breather hose because they'd perished, so I've replaced that, remounted it. I pulled the whole tray off and gave it all a clean up under there. It's all pretty good, there's no rust in this thing, so that's a bonus. What else did I have to do? Let's go in here. So I've got manual switch for the radiator fans, spotlight switch, floodlight switch. Bane of my existence was the instrument console. When it turned up after I bought this, when it turned up, the instrument console, the instrument cluster had failed. So I started looking for one, and it was just near on impossible to find one. Ended up getting one from West Australia. It works perfect. Lovely, lovely. Next job will be to sort out my solar and my dual battery. I've got a dual battery system ready to go. Got the roof rack to put the solar panels on. I've just got to mount the roof rack, make my own mounts for it. Yeah, so I'll get all that done and she'll be rock and roll, but she's basically ready for a roadworthy now, so I can get it roadworthy and registered. And there's a whole heap of stuff in the back here that's been workshop at the moment as well. I'll just keep everything in here because it's not going anywhere. Anyway, I think that's all. Let me think, what else do I have? Yeah, I only just put the bottom plastic fascia on under the bumper because I had to make mounts up for the spotlights. There was nowhere really to mount them properly, and I didn't want them covering any of the radiator. I don't know why, that's just me. I'm a little bit funny that way. But even putting them on, because they're old school spotlights, they're quite deep. So you wouldn't even get them on top of the bumper anyway without cutting away half the grill. So I made up some aluminium mounts and mounted them under the bumper. So she's all solid, which is good. Yeah, so that's about it. Yeah, I think so. All the wiring I tried to do properly. It looks like a bit of a dog's breakfast, but it's not really. It's all sorted. I've got to get a new positive terminal or get a bus bar and put all these on a bus bar rather than have them all hanging off the terminal like that. Other than that, she's all good, ready to go. So I guess that's the update. I can't think of anything else that I've done yet so far. Yeah, water pump, thermostat housing, new alternator. I spent quite a few dollars on it, and also having to buy tools and stuff so that I could work on it. That was another expense, but I've got all my tools sorted out now, got everything done. Just got to finish off, get the motivation to finish off the solar and do all that sort of thing, and she'll be laughing. But, yeah, and for anyone who was watching, that horn that I pulled out of the old bus, I put in there, so it's matched up with the original horn. Doesn't make anything much louder, just a little bit of a different sort of a note. Anyway, that's about it. I'll leave you to it.